call this meeting of the Board of Directors of Sandy Pines to order on June 18th, 2021, 7 p.m. The invocation, Brian, could you do that for us?
Absolutely. Our great God, Heavenly Father, we just thank you for today. Thank you for the rain this morning. We thank you for the sunshine this evening as we enter into a new weekend. We just pray for a blessing on this weekend, for the opportunity to celebrate Father's Day. We pray for those that get to spend time with their dads. We pray for those that are struggling this year without their parents, without their dad. And we just ask for special dose of your blessing on them. We just thank you for an opportunity to gather this evening. We thank you for this group. We thank you for our leadership. We thank you for the staff here at Sandy Pines. We thank you for our happy place. We just ask for your hand to be upon us as we make decisions, as we have the voice of the members, and we just thank you for the willingness of those to come before us and to share their ideas and thoughts and concerns. We just ask for wisdom as we contemplate what it is that we need to do. Just again, bring this night before you and ask for your hand to be upon you. Amen.
Amen. Let's stand for the pledge. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Kimberly, are you ready for the roll call?
I don't know if you got the mic, right? Can I hear him? All right. Ellen Carpenter,
Here.
Ryan Ellen,
Here.
Jenny Hager, here, Jim Hubb,
Here.
Kelly Johnson, Dennis King,
Here.
Larry Munger,
Here.
Paul Pepple,
Here.
and Stephanie Stefani. Here. 8 present.
The next item on our agenda is the approval of new park members. Jeff, could you give us the breakdown of information on those members?
Yes, so for June, we had 19 total sales, 7 through our sales department, 11 for sale by owners, 1 transfer of membership, a total of 36 new members. The breakout of those members are 10 new members in their 30s, 12 new members in their 40s, 4 new members in their 50s, and 6 new members in their 70s. That's for the month of June. And a recap for April and May. We did announce that at our last meeting, but I think we need to take a motion on the actual approval of those. April, we had 13 total new members. Breakdown was 7 through our sales office, 5 through for sale by owner, 1 through transfer, and the split almost a third, 40s, 50s, and 60-year age group. May, total of 15 new sales. 7 sales, 7 through the sales office, 5 through the for sale by owner process, 3 transfers, and the split out of the 8 brackets on the month of May was 8% in their 30s, 60% in their 40s, 9% in their 50s, 15% in their 60s, and 8% in their 70s. And those are the numbers for April, May, and June.
I'll entertain a motion to approve the new park members for the period of time that Jeff gave information on.
So second.
All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. The next item on our agenda is the approval of the May 2021 minutes. The board members had an opportunity to review the draft. Are there any questions or corrections? Hearing none, I'll entertain a motion to accept those minutes.
Motion to accept.
Are there any questions or comments? All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. The next item on our agenda is the discussion and approval of financial statements for Sandy Pines Wilderness Trails and Lake Michigan Golf Course. Jenny, do you have any comments? Lake Monterey.
So the finance committee met on Thursday. We actually have one new member, so we were very excited because our numbers are dwindling. And we heard that one of our current members, longtime wonderful member, is selling their place. So we're happy we got a new member, but we could use more. So if you know of anybody, we would love to have new members. However, we did meet and we had a forum and we went over the check registers for the month of May for the golf course and Sandy Pines Wilderness Trail. We had a bit of discussion, but nothing huge on that. We did approve those check registers. We also approved the financial statements for both entities. And then we had some discussion on the future budget, as far as fee and different things. We're going to be discussing that every month and just making sure we're doing what's best for the Park and its members.
Kimberly?
Okay, so an update on the May 2021 financial statements for Sandy Pines. As of the end of May 2021, our operation cash is very close to the value it was at May 2020. It is about 90,000 higher than prior year, so we're sitting in a good spot there. Sandy Pines is still waiting the final FEMA reimbursement for the North Shore building here. With one final job, possibly one more residual, just for any lingering costs that come in. That will also increase our operation cash balance. Also, Sandy Pines, as of early in the month of June, has received full forgiveness of the payroll protection plan funds that were received during the 2020 pandemic. So that was great news for our organization. The Charles Schwab investment account as of the end of May 2020 is approximately 10,000 higher than prior year. Our member accounts receivable balance, when you look at the financial statement, does show a credit, as many members have tended to pay ahead on their accounts in preparation for the dues to be billed in October for the next season. The final FEMA draws requests will be documented out of the acquisition grant funded account, so you will see that in the coming months. Total net income as of the end of May 2021 is approximately 313,000 higher than prior year, which is also 21.8% higher. There's specific areas that relate to this increase, but a lot of the difference is related to last year, May 2020. We were at the start of a pandemic, and this year we're kind of in the process of a normal season. So we're comparing to where we were last year with everything shut down at the beginning of the year. We recouped later, so that is the comparison that you'll see in those financial statements. Flea market income. So for instance, flea market income is up from prior year. We didn't have any flea markets in 2020. So if you look at that description, we're pretty much close to meeting our budget for the year because those are filling up as the lessening of the restrictions from COVID are going through. Newsletter ad income is also up in May 2020, and much of this to support the 50th anniversary celebration sponsorship that we've received and we're thankful for. Supplies under administration in May 2021 is up. Some of this does relate to some of the accommodations we had to make as restrictions of the pandemic came through and things we had to accommodate for within our offices. Sticker expense is lower and sticker income is lower than last year, and that's due to the license plates that flowed through those accounts in 2020. And maintenance was significantly down from prior year, their income, due to the timing of the cutoff of their winterization. Many of those were purchased and completed prior to fiscal year 2020. A lot of that was just pre-planning, and the recording of the income is based on when the services actually occurred. So additional maintenance income will be earned through the season, and we'll recoup that at the end of fiscal year 2021. So there isn't concern there, but you will notice that in the financial statements. Total operational expense compared to prior year 2020, is up, but a lot of that is related to many more activities that were able to occur within the season. Our maintenance staff is busy out there. Public safety violations are up about 8,000. End of May 2021, gas pass income is up with the normal opening of the season and members also being able to invite guests with the lesson restriction. Auto expense is up from prior year a little bit, and that's just repair of our current fleet of vehicles. Recreation income, the recreation taxable income, you will notice, is increased from prior year. Much of this relates to the sales of the 50th anniversary of merchandise. When you are out and about in the park and you see any merchandise that has the 50th logo on it, that is specifically going to the recreation, the recreation income line, and that's to support our 50th anniversary activity. So we encourage you to assist us in supporting that, wearing that 50th logo out there. You'll also notice that social activities is up and currently approximately 8,000 from prior year, and this is the flow through of those 50th anniversary expenses that we're incurring through the season. Food truck income is up, and that is just due to the timing at the beginning of the fiscal year, and keeping those coming through the park. Park and garden income, I do want to know, they are off to a great start at the beginning of this year, and they've already met approximately 50% of the net income, and I think this is just due to them having a better start this year. Golf cart lease expense is up. That is due to timing of the contract. We just recently had a new contract renewal, so there aren't concerns there. That's just related to the timing of that. But then the golf cart rental net income is also up from prior year. And again, like the park and garden, that's just due to a better startup that they had in this year. And they've already met about 40% of the net income for the year. Other than that, for sales, I'll end with sales, commission income is up about 16,000 from prior year. Our transfer income for sales is up about 58,000 from prior year. The difference in the prior year is due to the shutdown of the administration office. We lost some timing there with COVID last year. And then last, camping is up approximately 150,000 from prior year, and we've already met the budget of that income for this year. So Sandy Pines is, I'm happy to say, off to a much better start this year, and a great position for the 50th.
Do any of the board members have questions or comments on the Sandy Pines financial statements? I'll accept a motion to approve the financial statements for May 2021 for Sandy Pines Wilderness Trails.
So moved. Second.
All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Jenny, do you have any additional comment on the Lake Monterey financial statements for May of 2021?
No, I don't have anything additional to share.
Kimberly?
Okay, and just for Lake Monterey, I can be brief. Lake Monterey golf course operation cash is up approximately 70,000 from prior year. And again, Lake Monterey also received forgiveness of the PPP loan funds that were received through last year too. So we're grateful for that. And then net income as of the end of May 2021 is on target and approximately 15,000 higher than prior year. This is related to an increase in net income, specifically related to green fees, weekend, weekday, and member green fees, as well as power cart rentals and the clubhouse income. So we missed a lot of that revenue last year with the pandemic and the restrictions. So we're noticing more sales within the clubhouse internally too. So other than that, those are my notes.
Are there any questions from the board or comments? I'll accept a motion to approve the Lake Monterey Golf Course financial statements for May of 2021.
So moved.
All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Kimberly, do you have some comments on the upcoming budget?
Sure. So one thing that we had mentioned and Jenny mentioned too in her update is that month by month through the season, we want to keep an eye on the budget for next year in relation to the activity, the current activity and flow of financials during this year. So a couple of things that we're looking at just this last month that we looked at specifically were lake study recommendations and how we can obtain those recommendations and make those come forward to protect our lake. And then also camping sales. We're looking at the value of the camping sales and where we are in relation to our competitors, and looking at bringing some extra income in to support our organization there.
No.
So,
Okay. Jenny, you mentioned that we have a new finance committee member. Could you tell us who that is, please?
Her name is Patience, and she goes by the name of Pat, so Pat Pike. She is in phase 3. She said, I'm not exactly sure, but she said she's towards the back in the body area. That is that means. She loved it there. I'm not sure. She's been there for a handful of years, maybe 3 to 5, if I'm not mistaken. She is a math teacher for Battle Creek schools, I believe, middle school. And she came to our meeting and she was approved unanimously. So, hopefully you'll see her around and thank her for joining our committee.
Okay, I'll accept a motion to approve Patience Pike as a member of the finance committee.
So
All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. The next item on our agenda is our comments from myself, Stephanie, and Jeff. I want to make sure welcome you to the North Shore Center and the Board of Directors meeting. It's nice to be able to have everybody here and have it at the regular time and not have, you know, the limitation of the numbers. I hope you all take a moment to look at the building and see how nice it is and, you know, look at ways we can enjoy it. One of the things I do want to stress as we go into the season is safety, and specifically golf cart safety. We've had a number of accidents lately that have resulted in injuries. So we're going to be looking at some changes possibly in the rules and licensing for the younger drivers. It's important to remember that as a member, you're responsible for what happens on your golf cart, your associates, your grandchildren, your guests. And whoever's driving is responsible for the safe operation of that golf cart, meaning they have to make sure that the riders are acting in a safe manner. Jeff will have more to say about that also. The other thing with safety is we're continuing to look at pools and safe operations of pools. And when you go to the pool, if you don't agree with some of the policies that are in place, that 16-year-old lifeguard is not the person to get angry with. You know, we want to be able to retain our employees, and one of the ways we can do that is by treating them with respect. And we also, you know, you could be liable for a citation for abusing a staff member. Also, I want everybody to take a look at all the 50th events coming up. The committee has worked really hard on setting up events, sign up for them, and if you can volunteer. Volunteering is a great way to get to know other members in the community. Stephanie, I'd like to hear your comment.
Yeah. So like she said, my name is Stephanie. I'm the Lake Committee Liaison. Last summer, I chaired the committee. We've met twice so far this year. Still looking for volunteers, especially somebody that really likes to fish. That'd be really great if we could get somebody that likes to fish on the committee. A few points to make. Buoys have been purchased for the lake, so you'll see those placed in the next couple of weeks. We're gonna be placing them like 80 to 100 feet from shore, approximately every 4 to 6 sites. They'll have a light on the top of them, and what they're gonna do is they're gonna mark the perimeter of the waked portion of the lake. We've heard a lot of members voice concern about their seawalls, about their beach eroding. So we're hoping that these buoys will keep some of the boats that go faster off of the shoreline, keep some of those waves off of the seawalls, let them kind of release some of their energy as they're going through that buoyed area. And then also those buoys will allow a perimeter for kayakers and paddleboarders and paddle boaters to have a safe place around the whole lake. So that everybody can enjoy the lake on a Saturday and a Sunday. Just to stress that this is not taking away any part of the lake that you boat in. State of Michigan and Sandy Pines has a rule that you have to be 100 feet from shoreline or 100 feet from a moored buoy, dock, or boat. So the buoys will not be, they'll be placed 100 feet or less from shore, not from boats or docks. But that's technically where you're supposed to be with your boat when you're going faster than no wake speed. So watch for those. They'll look really pretty, I think, at night. I'm really excited. Second, we've had a few members talk about the swimming area here. We're gonna mark the beach with one of those ropes with like the buoys on it. People have been swimming by the boat docks. And so if you're at this beach, if you could be mindful of where you're swimming so that the boaters in the dock can back their boat out and get out into the lake. They don't need a ton of space, but if you're right behind them, it's dangerous with props and children. So we would just ask that everybody be mindful until we can mark the swimming area and the beach. And then last, last meeting, we had approved the retiring of double stakes once you sell your lot. Some members have asked if you can voluntarily retire. If you have a double stake, if you can voluntarily retire one of those stakes, and yes, you can. So what that would do for you as a member is you wouldn't have to pay for that second stake. It would be retired, so it would still be your empty area basically in front of if you have a waterfront lot. And then you wouldn't have to register your kayak or your paddle boat through the DMV, which we all know, like the only DMVs that know about this is Hudsonville, and I think Holland kind of knows about it, Allegan. Yeah, so if you would like to voluntarily give up that second stake before you sell, you're welcome to do so. Just call member services and they can help you with that. And that's all I have from the lake committee. And if you'd like to join, email the board of directors, I guess.
Or you can email Kathy Brott.
Kathy Brott, yeah, that'd be great.
Manages the application.
Yep.
Jeff?
Okay. Thank you, Ellen. All right. So a couple things. Let's talk about pool operations. There's been a lot of discussions about how the pools are being set up with capacity lines and things of that nature. So I want to take a step back to 2019. So I started here Labor Day 2019. October 22nd, 2019 was the first meeting I had with a committee here at Sandy Pines. It was safety and security. And that committee had a list of 20 items that they wanted addressed for safety and security of the park. The top 10 of those items were regard to the pool safety and pool operations, overcrowding, there were safety issues going on, comments from members where grandkids couldn't use the pool because it was too crowded, they were getting stepped on, they were getting pushed over, accidents. The infamous pool in the pool took place on a regular basis. Then in 2020, we had this little thing called COVID take place, where it forced us to come up with one, the plan to open up the park, and then two, to work with the state, the county, and the township to open up our amenities, which was the pool. At that time, we instituted a lineup procedure at really 25 people were in at a time, and then we opened it to about 50% capacity. Feedback at the end of 2020 from members was we've had numerous members that hadn't been to the pool in 2 or 3 years with their grandkids or kids because of the overcrowding. They said, continue to do this going forward because they could actually use the pool and it was safer and the kids had fun sitting around and enjoying the splash pad and the pool operations. So now where are we at today? Today we know there's no restrictions outdoors, but we are still having a pool capacity and we're trying to find that sweet spot. So again, we started at 75 people at the beginning of the season, really Memorial Day weekend, and that seemed to be okay during the week. On the weekends, we saw a spike in usage, and if you remember Memorial Day weekend, it was a little cool at that time. Following weekend was a scorcher, and we had a significant amount of people lining up and waiting in line. So then we adjusted to open it up to 100 people for the pool. That seemed to be okay. Again, we sat and talked to staff, got some feedback, and they charged us every hour for us. That appeared to absorb anybody standing in line for more than 10 to 15 minutes. I personally have been to the pools. I was there Memorial weekend. I was there last weekend as well. When we increased that number, that line seemed to be absorbed out of the 8 hours, I believe, that the pool is open. We had 1 hour where the line stood for more than 15 minutes waiting to get in. So we'll continue to try to find that sweet spot and adjust where needed. We're also looking at, do we adjust the time? Do we say, all right, it's an hour and a half? So why are we rotating out? A couple of things. Also had discussions with the Allegheny County Health Department. The pools need to have a rest, and that rest can be anywhere from 15 minutes to an hour. If you take a look at the Grand Rapids public pools, some of the researching that we've done is they shut their pool down anywhere from 1 to 3 times a day at an hour, depending on the crowd level, to allow that pool and the chemicals to basically relax, so they don't have to re-add chlorine, reshock it. If you have to reshock that pool, you can sit out of that pool for anywhere from 20 to 40 minutes while the shock levels have to dissipate into the water. Our plan is still continue to rotate on the hour. As we rotate people out of that on the hour, there's 10 minutes while people are coming in. You get out of the pool, you exit. New people come into the pool. That 10-minute time frame is enough to allow the pool to maintain its correct level of chlorine, correct level of shock. So what we've seen from last year and so far this year is, as a byproduct of that, the usage of our pool chemicals have gone down. We haven't had I hate to bring this up and say this so early in the season, but we haven't had any poo in the pool so far. And we're trying to find that sweet spot, that capacity sign that's out there. When we talk to our safety and committee, our safety committee team, they're like that number is too high for that pool. Now, what are the other things that we're looking at to address some overcrowding? We've had the board meet and reestablish the pool committee. We didn't have a pool committee last year because of COVID. Some of the things, there's some really good ideas from the members that have written in on pools. Indoor pool, outdoor pool, another splash pad. Another great idea that came out is, lazy river. That would be a new amenity here. We've seen them maybe at some of the big hotels, but A couple of things. One, we want to keep it safe. Two, we want to make certain that people can enjoy it and use it. And three, we do have to address the overcrowding and figure out how to get another amenity in the park. And that'll be part of the pool charter, pool committee charter. The last comment on that is, we've had some writing comments. Hey, open it up, have a free for all like it was last year. One of the items, again, from 2019 is if you hit that capacity that's posted, the pool is shut down. So meaning nobody else can get in there. So if you have your grandkids or your kids in there for 4 or 5 hours, you're still gonna have a line and you're still gonna have people turned away. But as 5 people come out, then 5 more can come in. If you have that rotating every hour where 100 people are coming out, 100 people can go in and use the pool. So we're trying to accommodate everybody safely. It's not a silver bullet, but we're continuing to address those operations and flex them where we can try to accommodate everybody. Any other comments on operations from the board? All right, Ellen had already touched on golf cart rules. So I would say this season, I've got a report here from public safety, but we've had so far approximately 5 pretty severe issues and injuries with golf carts, and the ages range anywhere from 12-year-olds to 19-year-olds, anywhere from members to campers to guests. The most serious one was a teenager dancing on the back of a golf cart, and as the driver hit a bump and made a turn, she was ejected, fell off. She was unconscious for about 8 minutes. Took her to the hospital. She's good, thank God. But we've had golf carts roll over. We've had kids ejected. So we know this is it's the culture of Sandy Pines to allow our kids and our grandkids to drive these carts and learn how to drive with these carts. We gotta start looking at how do we continue to make it safer. Just again, some additional stats, talking to public safety. Right now, we have 180 new kids testing for golf carts. So what we have now, add another 180 kids to the mix. And so we're talking about all kinds of, the rules committee is talking about all kinds of ways to make certain that we're doing this safely and still have that culture and rite of passage for the grandkids and the kids to do this safely. So please, again, our public safety can't be everywhere. If you, the members, see kids messing around, too many kids on a golf cart, acting inappropriately, standing, dancing, things of that nature, hold them accountable. And if they don't stop, license plates, you can now visit, and that's a nice visible license plate. Take the cart number down with the site number and call public safety. Public safety is responding to those calls and driving to the sites and having conversations with the kids and parents and addressing it. So any help you can give us on that would be greatly appreciated.
It's also not just kids, it's adults as well.
It's adults as well. Thank you. Thank you.
I'm gonna stand up for the kids, because I have kids.
Right, absolutely. Case in point from Stephanie, one of the accidents was a 42-year-old individual that rolled the cart. So, and ejected a lot of people. So, you're right, it's not just kids. Thank you.
Yeah, and we should be role models to our kids in the way, grandkids, in the way that we drive our carts. We be modeling those good driving habits, and, it's a parent's job to make sure, grandparents' job to make sure those kids know what the rules are and know how to safely drive. So it's on the adults too. You're right, Stephanie.
Those are the only comments I have.
Okay. Our next item is a review of the results of the North Shore Events Survey.
You want me to take that one?
Oh, absolutely.
Thank you. All right, hey, if you haven't noticed, we have a new building here called the North Shore Building. We're sitting in it. I hope everybody's had a chance to walk through it. And does everybody know that there's a survey online, it's still active, that you can go out there and answer a bunch of questions. This is our building. This is, we can do what we want with this building. So this is kind of up to us. We're gonna have, we're looking for ideas as far as what kind of events to hold here. But to give you some stats, I won't go through all of these, but so far we have about 10% of the park has already gone online and done the survey. So let's have some highlights here. I would say 65% of the respondents are members 5 years or longer here. 50% of the members that have responded are 10 years or more as a member. Let's see, found this interesting. The 70% of the respondents are female, and why I find that interesting is the voice of the membership, and at least what I've seen in my household is the voice of my household continues to be my wife, and very active and engaging in activities, things of that nature. So 70% are female. Age group, 35 to 44 is about 22%. 45 to 54 is about 25%. 55 to 64 is 26%. And 65 and older is 22%. So a pretty equal pretty equal amongst the age groups there in responding. Let's see. Would you like to see member-only events? 65% of the membership said yes, they'd like to see only member events. Would you like to see open to the public? No, that wasn't a trick question. We did that right after. Would you like to see member-only events? 61% of the respondents said they do not want to see events open to the public. This one is interesting though. After that one, do you want it open to the public? Would you like to see events during the off season? 80% of the people responding said yes, they would like to see this building used for events during the off season. And we know as a campground, our season is technically April 15 to October 15, but the major use of this park is Memorial Day to Labor Day. So events taking place off season was 80% yes, which is a good thing because as our members leave, this building stays here. This is a fixed asset, and we still have to heat it, we still have to clean it, we still have to run it during the season. Here's the one that I think the majority of people are wanting to understand. Would you like to see events with alcohol served? 60% of the respondents said yes. Approximately 40% of them said no. And the breakout of, would you like to see beer, wine, or liquor? 60 is pretty equal. 60% said beer and wine, and 40% said liquor. So if you just take a look at those numbers, one of the things that also has been in the write-in section, what kind of events do you want to see held here? Wedding receptions, retirement parties, graduation parties, things of that nature are all kind of events that we're seeing recommended to utilize this building to get some revenue generation here in the park. Pricing levels. What pricing level would you like to see for these events? 4,000, 3,000, 2,000, 1,000, or other. And 57% said other. And then when you take a look at some of the respondents in that other, a lot of the comments were, charge market rate. we looked at the market rate, and that's where we came up with the 4,000, 3,000, 2,000, or 1,000. So those are one event. Yeah.
For like a wedding, like a large.
Yeah, so if you did a wedding or a wedding reception, charge market rate per hour, or if it's a 4-hour block duration, you take a look at some of the barns that are around here that are utilizing them, they can go for $5,000, $6,000. So we are looking at market rates. And duration, the majority of the respondents, roughly 23% of the respondents, were okay with a 4-hour duration for an event here. The next level was a pretty even split of 20% for a 2-hour or a 3-hour event. So we encourage you to go out online. We do want to hear some feedback. We want to hear your ideas. Again, we've got about 10% of the park. We are, through the budgeting process, looking at other things such as peak season, which would be Memorial Day to Labor Day, off-season pricing, things of that nature. So there's a lot of things that we're trying to figure out on how to best utilize this. So right now the thought is this area up top would be the event area that you would rent out. It has a warming kitchen, all the tables and chairs are here. When we purchased all of the furniture, we purchased that type of furniture to be flexible to hold events like that. Downstairs would continue to be open even during an event. Downstairs would continue to be open if you wanted to utilize the activity rooms. The library would still be open. So that's right now kind of the thought process on how we want to utilize this building. But we encourage you to go online and take a look at giving us some additional feedback. So that's the North Shore. License plate updates. So again, the license plates, we continue to get some write-ins as to, what's the deadline? Why are we doing this? Can this get reversed? It's already been decided. It's a rule. It's not going to get reversed. We have to continue going forward. The plan was to have all of the license plates handed out and installed by the end of 2020. Again, we had a lot of people that just didn't come here in 2020 because of COVID. They didn't want to travel. They didn't want to risk it. So we took some numbers at the end of 2020. 30% of our members had their license plates picked up and ready to be installed at the end of 2020. So we extended that because we still have 7% that need to get it done. We extended that through basically Labor Day this season is the deadline to get this done. As of today, we have 50% of the members, so we've only moved 20% since April, May, and halfway through June. So we got 50% of the members that still need to get their plates picked up, registration and put on their carts, and license plates installed. We purchased in the park enough plates for 8,900 plates are in this park. And so we also have some writing questions. See the pattern here, I'm trying to address some of the writing questions as well. We also have some writing questions. Hey, what's going on at public safety? Why does it take so long to get an appointment? Well, we've got golf cart testing every hour that we're trying to get done. And we still have approximately 4,400 plates to get out. And that is an appointment, get your plates, get your registration. So that's taking a lot of time at the public safety office as well. But we do need to get those plates on by Labor Day, and we have to put them on appropriately in the right spots. We're still seeing the front is, I would say, 90%, 95%. The front plates are looking good as we drive around through the park and get some feedback from public safety. I've seen a couple of plates where they're mounted actually on the windshield, the lower part of the windshield, which is not compliant. But the majority of the challenge appears to be people are also putting those plates in the cubbies. And that's not where those plates need to go or should go, or are supposed to go. They got to get pulled out of those cubbies and they got to get put where they're visibly, where public safety office can visibly see those plates and those site numbers. Because you got a nice new plate and it's again hidden by basketballs and noodles for the pool and things of that nature. So they do have to get put on appropriately per the guidelines. And then come after Labor Day weekend, public safety will start looking, and if you don't have them on, you've got some fines and violations. Let's see, Prox card update. So we made an announcement last month that mag cards are going away. The technology is old. The parts are getting harder and harder to locate to fix the mag strip readers, and they continue to go down on a regular basis. And when we can find the parts, they're extremely expensive. And when I did some time out of public safety, I can't tell you how many people I saw lick their card and then put it in the slot because they thought that was the magic way to get that thing working, right? Especially during COVID, that was a great idea. Now we got to disinfect the card reader. So we are moving to Prox cards. We did make that announcement, and we're giving that through the end of this season and into, so when renewals come next season, everybody should be moved to a Prox card. Magnetic strips will be shut off in the off season, probably at the end of this year. So when I say end of this year, we're talking probably November, December in the off season. So we're making that communication now. Anybody that loses a mag strip card, new members coming in, they're all getting moved to the Prox chip, and they're going forward in that capacity. So just be aware of the timing on that we got to get into Prox cards. Mag strips will not be an option for renewal next year. Everybody will need to be in the Prox card. And then lastly, we had a North Shore Building Chapel motion. So what that agenda item is chapel outdoors, and this was really just dotting our I's and crossing our T's. So chapel outdoors, if there's bad weather for chapel events. You saw Dave, I've seen some of your faces here for the first couple of services that Dave Van Ord and the chapel group had here for worship services. We passed this motion as a backup for the chapel in case of bad weather, inclement weather, cold, things of that nature. And that was done specifically during the COVID time to use this as a worship area, as an alternative worship area. So the chapel can use this facility with whatever capacity they can use to get in here from a head count of people standpoint. And that's all I have for old business on.
Okay, I think since we passed that motion via email, I think we need to confirm that. So I entertain a motion to confirm our email resolution regarding the chapel.
Okay.
Larry, Brian.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay. Any questions on the motion from the board? Hearing none, all those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, same sign. Motion carried.
You want to touch on new business, or you want me to?
Why don't you, yeah, you have it all written down.
I was just gonna stop asking. So new business, we have some petitions for director seats that are coming open here. We have 4 of them. We have 3 3-year seats and 1 1-year seat, and that's basically Chad Ostrom from when he passed away. to finish his tenure here. So that's a 1-year seat. So nomination packets and petition packets are in member service. You can either stop in the administration and talk to Abby, Janelle, or Nicole, or Kathy Brott. Kathy Brott will have those nomination packets as well. If you picked up a nomination packet and you want to be highlighted in the upcoming July footprints, we need a picture of a headshot of you and a bio, I would say by the middle of next week, in order for Ian and the team to hit our print date to get that into the July footprints. If not, we can get it into the August footprints, but obviously you'll be missing a month there. And we're still looking at a date for Meet the Candidates. Currently, I want to say we have 6 signed up for 4 seats. So.
And the deadline to return them is Monday. So
Yes.
if somebody's that hasn't signed out a petition, wants to, tomorrow's your day. You know, there's lots of people in the park. You can get a petition tomorrow, but it has to be back in by Monday. Jeff, did you want to go through the writing questions?
Sure, why not? All right, so we did do, again, another thing that Ian and the communications team has done online is there's a landing spot. You can click on questions to submit to the board of directors, and the board of directors receives those questions as well as I, and then we get a printout of these. So we did that first trial in May, and there was one segment in May that was missed. So I'm going to address that and now go into the June question. The biggest segment in May was, hey, what's going on with the phase 3 cartridge? The phase 3 cartridge is still a project that has been approved. We're still going forward with that. Where we're at right now is the first round of bids came in slightly higher than what we anticipated due to, we've got a couple of things going on. Material economics has gone through the roof right now. And any of the approved contractors that can build that bridge, they're already booked. And so if you want to get into their schedule, it's going to cost. So we've asked for a couple of resubmissions for some redesigns to try and get that pricing closer to what we have budgeted. And I just received the last one this afternoon. I do have some questions on it, so I shot it back to them. So we have 3 contractors out of 8 that have bidded on the project. And we are asking for some breakdowns of what their costs are. They've given us a couple of options. Once we figure out the design changes that we want to go with, then we have to resubmit that to Allegheny County for approval. Allegheny County approved our first round of designs, and with a second round of designs to try and help alleviate some of the cost pressures, they have to reapprove those. Early indications are we don't seem to have any indications that Allegheny County would not approve those redesigns, but we still got to submit them. So that was a leftover from May. So for those of you that submitted it in May, I apologize for not getting that in time. Questions, I would say a lot of the questions so far in June have been pool operations, which I think we've addressed already earlier. Lake level. Anybody notice that the lake's a little down? Yeah. So we are trying, again, the Lake Study Committee has done a really good job with coming up with some recommendations. It's not only been the lake level, but hey, there's some stagnant areas in the lake. Phase 3 is stagnant a little bit, and I think Sailboat Cove has some issues as well.
Yeah.
So a couple of things that the Lake Study Committee has talked about is adding 2 new wells in those areas, one in each area, to try and pump up some of that groundwater, keep it circulated so it's not stagnant, try to help us increase the water levels. At the beginning of the season, we had some pump issues with some pumps, parts breaking, trying to get those parts. Those all have since been fixed and alleviated. But when we look at those, when we look at what's coming out of those pumps, the water table is low as well. So we're not getting as much water out of the ground into the lake. So outside of that, I would say do some rain dances. We had some pretty good rain last night and early this morning. We're trying to come up with a lot of good recommendations to try and alleviate some of the issues that we're seeing at the lake right now. Stephanie, I don't know if you want to add anything to that from Lake Study Committee.
Not really. Our lake treatment company did come in and do a extra spot treatment in Sailboat Cove on top of the treatments that we're already getting to try and address some of that algae and seaweed that's really building up over there. And we're trying to work closely with PLM, and if we need them to come out more, that's something that we're open to working with them for. So let us know.
Some comments from some people that I know that are on the lake that said they thought it has improved in some areas.
Oh, good. Good. But because the water level is low, the sunlight can reach that level. And so the weeds are just growing faster because sunlight equals growth. And unfortunately,
Right.
we've got nice clear water, so the sun's penetrating it.
Another question that came in was, I don't know if anybody out here has downloaded or gone to YouTube and looked at last month's board of director meeting. So one, we had some technical issues, so we apologize for getting that out late. And it was not by lack of not trying. We've tried multiple times to download that. It did hit the week after the meeting. It didn't have any audio. We pulled that out. We tried to fix that. We got the audio, no picture. So we were struggling with that. We think we got a fix for it. We're also trying something different. We're recording this through our Teams software, and that's what we did while we were in the conference room in the admin, and the sound and the actual video was better. So we're going to try that this month. But a couple other things, acoustics in here, kind of loud, echoey. So we're going to try it. We're going to try this with Teams to see if that is still a problem. If it is, then we'll go back to our construction contractor to see what we can do to get some acoustic absorption here. So these little clouds that are above us with the lights, those are supposed to be sound absorbing as well. And we'll see how this goes this month. And if it's bad again, we'll look at what we can do from an acoustic standpoint. One of the other questions in regards this month to the cart bridge was, what other options did we look at? So again, back in the cart bridge has been talked about from what I understand, 2017, 2018, or at least a safe passage between phase 3 and phase 6. So we have had meetings and discussions with Allegan County Road Commission. We asked for a flashing sign with a button with a crossing area where, hey, traffic has got to stop because we got a cart coming across. If anybody's been downtown Holland between, I think it's 8th Street downtown Holland and Hope College, you have those crosswalks that actually have concrete barriers that force the traffic to slow down and stop when people are walking. We asked for that as an option. We talked about grants. Is there any grant money out there that we could utilize from the county to try and build this safe passage across phase 3, between phase 3 and phase 6? And we also looked at a tunnel underneath to go underneath the road. All were rejected except for the tunnel. The tunnel became either option A and the cart bridge option B. When we looked at the tunnel, the feedback from the engineers that came out was, one, it's extremely close to the water table in phase 3 lake, so we're going to get flooding. B, we would have to raise the road, which would be shutting down the road, tearing up the road, and then that would have to utilize Allegan County Road Commission to do that. And then C is safety concern for public safety. If you look at it, we have to go diagonal across 26th Street there. And the length between phase 3 and phase 6 would be a pretty significant tunnel where kids and adults could, have some shenanigans in the tunnel down there, right? And so there was some safety issues and concerns going on with that from a public safety standpoint. And when we had both of them looked at from a cost perspective, the cart bridge was the better option. So it wasn't something that we, from an operations standpoint, for the board just woke up and said, we'd really like to build this really cool bridge across the road. We've explored a bunch of avenues, as well as try to get some free money to do it. And it unfortunately has not gone our way in some of those other options. So that's how we got to the cart bridge proposal and the cart bridge decision. We have a written question here on the agenda for today. There's a listing approval of new members. What does that mean? So basically, again, the process, new membership application gets filled out, and a background check is done. And then if the background check comes back, a recommendation is for somebody to become a member, and we review the stats with the board, and then the board approves those new members. So that's how you get your certification, being a member at Sandy Pines. Lake study commit, a lot of lake level questions. Ballast boat. So when did the ballast boat resolution get passed, and why is this a surprise? It shouldn't be a surprise. We've been talking about this really since last fall. I would say, again, my short tenure here, the Lake Study Committee has done a really good job, and it's been a really good example of how a committee should be run. They had a specific charter. They met every week. And at the end of the season, they presented their recommendations to the board. The board took the off season to review them. And then from March, April, and May, the board has enacted and passed resolutions based on those recommendations. So the ballast boats are not banned. The function is temporarily suspended. And what we're trying to do, back to what Stephanie was talking about with that erosion and things of that nature, as the ballast boats are filled up, they have a larger wave that comes out of that, and it's temporarily suspended for that function. And then the charter for the Lake Study Committee is to come back to the board with some data that says it's permanently suspended and here's why, or it should be reinstated, here's why, or is there somewhere in the middle? This shouldn't be a surprise. It is updated in the handbook as of June 1st. We did post it online with a notification. Please check new resolutions in the handbook effective June 1st. And it was brought to our attention that we should post those in the posting areas at CCs and things of that nature. And those were done this week as well. So all three resolutions that were passed from the Lake Study Committee have been posted throughout the CCs. So that's how we got to ballast boat. Question about boat docks and pulling boats up in the green area. Has the park changed its rule on boat docks being stored in the green area? No. You can't pull your dock up into the green area, can't pull your boats up into the green area, those, you know, it's in the handbook, it shouldn't be doing that, and if we do see people doing that, we can send, public safety out, have them, notify them that they gotta either move their dock onto their site, and their boat onto their site, or put it in the water if it has a boat stake or dock, so, we have not changed that rule. Speed bumps, concern in phase 2 about cart speed, vehicle speed. You know, what can we do to protect the kids? So a couple of things that we have talked about. We have not talked about speed bumps, but we have talked about signage, maybe putting some additional signage in some of the high traffic areas. I know our maintenance crew got a new toy in the off season, which is a CNC machine, and that's where you've seen some of those new signs pop up throughout the. I don't know if you guys are liking those or not, but I think they're really cool. The plan is to continue to do that during the off season, and if we have some additional signage, that signage areas, we could probably utilize a maintenance crew in the off season to make some signs up there too. And I'm gonna end with that. Again, a lot of questions about the lake and pool operations. And I think we've addressed that in some of the other discussion of the agenda. So that's what I have for writing questions on.
Okay, the final item on our agenda is member comment. And what we're going to ask you to do, if you have comments, is to go to the microphone and use the microphone, because you want to be on this video with us. And you want all the members to be able to hear you. And, you know, it's important. So if you have a comment, there's the microphone.
Let's see if that helps make sure.
Yeah.
Name and site.
Name and site number as well, please.
Mary Morrison, K296. I have heard that the Lake Study Committee and the Board of Directors are thinking about raising the boat stake fee to $150. I'm totally against that, and I understand it's because of the problems with the lake. This lake belongs to every member of this park. So if the boat stake people have to pay more, then everyone should have to pay. I don't understand the thinking behind this. I know there's problems with the lake, but it shouldn't be just boat people, because there's a lot of people in this park who have boats, who do not have boat stakes and do put them in. Can I have another comment?
Sure. Go ahead.
Okay, my comment is regarding PSO. My grandson came in this spring, adult grandson, and he has changed cars, and so he came through the main gate to get his sticker. And he was told that just go on in. Now, to me, we've got a lot of probably cars in this, between last year and this year, in this park without stickers. And the fact is, if that man's going to stand there and tell him just to go on in, he could just as well hand him a sticker. So that's my other comment.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Rudy, I would have brought the microphone.
Yeah.
When you said
Nobody knows who I am. My name is Rudy Foreman, M5. And I want to congratulate Jeff here for speaking up, so at least I can hear a little bit. I don't know if everybody else can hear. I couldn't hear Ellen, I'm sorry.
Well, I'll try to do better with
I
this.
could not hear her. But the only thing I have to say is, you brought up selective enforcement of rules. I think that we are way bad in selective enforcement of rules. We are not enforcing our rules that we should. I've been on the rules committee for like 25 years. I've been up there, and I've been the secretary of the board. I've been here for 50 years. I'm one of the old ones.
Nice.
I don't want to be negative. I want to be positive. I think that we're doing one heck of a job, but please, let's be looking at it, not using so much selective enforcement of rules. Everybody should be playing by the same rule, and everybody, that way you're not going to have discord or anything like that. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Rick.
Phase 3.
Come on down.
My name is Valerie Krashina. My site number is 1334. Number 1, Crocs cards. I have a question. I have a black card, which isn't for entry. Do you know what black card is? So black card works for every other facility, the gym or anything else that you mentioned. Recreation, etc. So will we no longer have black cards is my question.
So that's a great question. I'll have to take that back to Steve and the security.
Because I made the old man use it at the golf course,
Yep.
and now we're gonna be short cards. It's gonna go to buy it. You kind of let us know.
I will take that up with Steve.
Thanks. Okay, phase 3, Flea, I know you have, and I think the board does a great job, and you have no power over the weather, I get it. I have been in phase 3 and watched your spray guy, you spray half the lake. He's not spraying the entire lake.
Okay.
And we sent a text with a video of him not spraying the entire lake. The other thing that that's just an FYI. And the question I have is I came to the office and said, I have dirt in front of my place. I don't even have a lake. I'm the third from the end on the boat state. So I asked for a temporary boat state somewhere, and they said they aren't giving them at this time. Can you give me an idea of when you're gonna give them?
We are looking, we talked about that in our planning session,
Yeah.
and we're working on it. We know that
Because I have a boat that I haven't uncovered for like 2 years, 2 years. I'd love to get it in the water.
Right.
And I did pay my boat stake fees, so, I mean, I don't want to be as nasty about it.
Okay.
And Stephanie, just so you know, I did fill out an application to be on the lake committee almost 3 weeks ago.
Okay.
And I heard anything.
Okay.
Who did
Gave it to Kathy.
Well, I think what happened was I think you put both the library committee and the lake committee.
Okay.
And I think it got waylaid a little bit because I have it in the folder
All
for
right.
the library, but we can put you,
Yeah.
I'll pass it
I know,
on.
I've done the library for like forever.
Yeah.
I'll
Yeah.
pass that on to Stephanie.
Yeah. And so phase 3, I'll have to check with PLM, but I do think some of that is protected with like the lily pads and.
Okay, no, not the lily pad.
Okay.
About the very end where the creek comes in.
Okay.
We had, 2 years ago, we had this argument with the spray company.
Okay.
I explained to them, they said, we can't spray within 1,000 feet of your water source. The
Oh.
water source for our lake is 1,000 feet down that creek.
Yeah.
There is a spring that runs down that creek and pumps
Okay.
all that mud nicely in front of my place.
Okay, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry about that.
No, but just so, because we've done through this
Yeah.
before with spray company.
We'll talk to.
So,
Yeah.
specifically with PLM, when they come out, they do have specific areas and a plan and a map of what they're gonna treat. I'll give you an example again. I took a look at, some of the sites at Sailboat Cove, and we called PLM and asked for a plan at Sailboat Cove as well, because there's significant weeds in that area. And so I believe they came out Thursday. So if we, back to phase 3, you're having a so there you go. Love another nature, by the way.
The floating island.
Okay.
Mulch coming
Oh,
down.
yeah. Okay.
So if you have an issue or a recommendation, yeah, give us a call and we can have people come out, take a look at it and give us a response.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Hi, I'm Kate Rokoff from D86. And a few years ago, somebody set up in Sandy Pines a tournament to catch carp, I believe.
Yeah, yes.
Yes,
Yeah,
yeah,
And you had to pay to enter.
yeah.
yes.
That, to me, was a bad idea.
Oh.
And I had talked to the president about it too, just before he retired.
Mhm.
If you want to get rid of the carp in the lake, he suggested every time people catch carp here, to weigh them. And at the end of the season, the person who catches the most carp gets some prizes. Why have them pay? Because that discourages people from trying for carp. Have people say, oh, look, let me see how many pounds of carp I can get out of this lake and I might win some money.
Yeah.
A lot more positive.
So you're not opposed to getting rid of the carp, it's just how the
Like the price, the fee.
process is.
The carp have to come out of here, that's why the lake is.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah, so we were gonna meet about that this week and things got mixed up, but we are planning a carp contest. So I can't.
And we are looking for recommended sites.
Oh, sorry. You're gonna bring them to Ellen's lot.
I think the idea was that maybe the Sandy Pines would figure out some way to get rid of the carp.
Okay,
That had been caught and that
Yeah.
had been weighed and attributed to the person who caught them.
yeah,
And then people running through the whole season.
yeah,
Because I'm in 6 on the water there, and they're jumping, they're rolling.
yeah, that's what Larry was saying, yeah.
And that's just so detrimental.
Yeah. It's horrible for the shoreline.
Yeah.
Yeah, and no, I don't want them on my lot, but, I have a memory, and Stephanie was gonna look into this, of a truck that used to come in and grind them up for fertilizer. So we're trying to figure out.
If anybody has a
People want
lead,
them in trash. I don't want them on my lot. If I get them on my lot, they're gonna go to Stephanie's lot.
no. We just don't wanna, overrun the dump with carp carcasses. That's kind of gross. Yeah, smelly and gross and not fun for maintenance. Yeah. So any ideas would be on how to get rid of them? Go ahead, sorry.
Hi, my name is Larry McClung from K-136. We became members back in 2012. Beginning of last year for COVID, I lost the ability to walk. And I have a huge problem with the bathroom issue right now. I contacted the president last Memorial year, my last Memorial Day of last year. And he had the head of maintenance, Jeff, contact me. He said that they were gonna look into a couple CCs that I couldn't get into. One was by the ice cream shop where the kids swim, where I take my grandkids. Because the ice cream shop was shut down, they were gonna take the men's room and take out one stall, cap it on, and make that a handicap stall. And then also do the CC out by me, by K-136. The maintenance Jeff asked me if I could wait until the end of season because they were really busy. I said, okay. I come in this year, nothing was done. Now, I see the ice cream shop can open up when the governor releases everything next Tuesday. I need a bathroom, either in the ice cream shop because that is accessible for me, or modify the other CC. I need a bathroom. The second thing I have is on the lake getting shallower. I see that by the dam, there's a creek that runs out all the time. I see that the water is bypassing the overflow part of the dam and making the water go down. So my issue is where my boat stake is, I have an ADA ramp, a 10-foot one that I bought last year, so I could access my pontoon in another couple of weeks to a month. I'm not gonna be able to access it anymore, so I need my boat stake moved to another area where I can access it. All I'm asking for is I came for guidance on it last year, and I need something done this year, or I need to seek guidance elsewhere on the two issues I have.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, Linda Brown, Lot 20. I just want to address the issue of speeding. We have a rounded deck that we sit on right past the lane for the PSO. And you guys, it's like not just the carts. I think they come in, check in cars. It is awful, and it's really gotten worse and worse. And then here it's even worse. So, I mean, you want to see it? Sit on our deck and have a cocktail, because we see it all the time.
Later. Here's 20. Okay.
Hi, my name is Paulette Schmidt, and I'm Laker. I'm the daughter of Rudy Kodak, so I've been an associate member for the whole time here, and a member as of 4 years ago. I am concerned about the fee because I live in Wisconsin and don't get it very often. And I have a boat stake, but I bought the lot with a sailboat, which I don't know how to use. So my boat stake is there, but I have not used it for that. And so if it is true that they're going to raise the boat stake, and that is really a concern for me. I want to be close to my dad as long as I have him, but it's hard when fees go up. And also, I have a MAG card, and I think that's going away. And I know the cross cards were initially just, get paid $5 cross card, and you'll have that, and it'll be just a normal $10 fee. And then that extra $5 was charged on that ever since. So now I won't be able to have my MAG card, but I'm gonna have a prox card, which will always then be $15. So these are a real concern for me, especially when I do use the lake for my own boat stake. And we need to get my kayak, but those are things that are important to me, and I want to let you know, and thank you for your time on the board.
Thank you.
Donna Garrick, condo 7001. Two questions regarding the ballast boats. Were you going to consider sending letters to those people?
Yes, we can, actually, what we considered was sending letters just to those individuals.
Right.
And, again, some more stats for the members out here. For the small of the lake, we have over 1,100 boats registered for this lake. And power boats are, what, Stephanie, 937?
Yeah.
937 power boats for the small lake, so.
That includes pontoons, but yeah.
That's pontoons as well. So, we had thought about doing just a mass email direct to all 937. Because we also don't want, somebody that has a pontoon boat seeing, these ballast boats and, hey, that's pretty cool, I want to buy one. They should be informed as well that there's been a rule change. So we are considering sending those out, yes.
Okay.
So, we posted it online, and then we posted it at the CCs, and then we can send emails on.
Yeah, I just think it's one more thing that they can't say, well, I didn't know. It just kind of covers bases. The other thing I was concerned, and maybe this is asking before you know, regarding the rental of this room, When you decide on that fee, will that include, if they're having 50 or 100 people, will that be considered in there so they won't have to pay at the gate?
Yes.
Okay.
Again, from, directionally, what we have right now is large events, are obviously gonna be, higher price, and that would be 100 people or more. So this room here can, house 250, guests. And we have, fold down tables and chairs that can accommodate, guests. So small events will be 99 and under, and if you have 100 guests coming in, we don't want to charge $5 per guest. So it is built in, into that price.
Wonderful. And just one more question.
You said two.
And we've already done it, I kind of rushed in. Are you going to put a bike rack here at this building? A bicycle rack? Yeah, bicycle rack.
That was on our list.
Yeah.
You know, when the kids come out of the library or whatever.
No, great question. So we will, we'll add that to the list, we will get that addressed.
Thank you, and thank you all for working too. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? At this time, I'll accept a motion to adjourn the meeting.
Second.
Any questions? Hearing none. All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Thank you so much for coming and participating and having comments and questions. Also, anybody who wants to stand, we're accepting applications.